Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the Tuesday topic. Baz is doing his pathetic hand gestures to the left of me.
I'll catch on like the dog.
No,
Captain on.
maybe I'm the one.
If we scored the weekend, that's what we'll do.
It'll be like that.
Be like when AJ did that thing. Obviously.
That.
So when all the players used to do it and no one knew what it was.
Ozil still does it now, doesn't he? He does it like that way though.
Ozil.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, something that we
amazing.
talked about on the final word is obviously it's our formation. What is the best formation for this team? Because 4-5-1 certainly isn't, as far as I'm concerned. We tried 3 at the back. It didn't work, let's be honest. Against
You completely ruling that out?
I'm not ruling it out whatsoever. I still think it's got legs if you've got the right people to play.
Because it's quite ironic because Everton
haven't got any legs. Because I think
so.
whatever formation you play, I genuinely feel that it's about the players playing in that formation. Look at Chelsea; they've gone to 3 at the back, and suddenly Victor Moses is the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? It's about the players, not. You can't just get a formation and throw it.
It's sliced bread, great. Because I like, like sometimes you tear the
I think
loaf.
what it is, though,
I
Baz,
like that.
I think at the
Hard to
time,
make
I don't think it's necessarily sliced bread. It's just you just never used to have sharp enough knives,
Yeah.
and then you're pushing it down, and then you
because
you end up.
If you have, when you have that tiger loaf, sometimes you try to cut it, it ends up like
Yeah.
that, and you have to stretch it again, don't you?
Yeah.
I just wonder.
I love Tiger Bread. It's been a roaring success.
It has been a
That's why
roaring
I'm-
success. You're right. You're
Um,
right. And you don't have to be a
Tough to
pussy
get your
to
teeth
eat it.
into
You can
sometimes.
just,
We digress. Are we
Sorry.
starting this knitting channel or what? For me, it's about the players, and if the players don't suit a system, you can't force them into the system.
Again, which is quite ironic, because
Yeah.
Walter Smith and David Moyes used to love the square pegs. And round
They
holes, didn't
did. So the players we've got, I just don't think can play in this system. We talked about a lot on the final word about Romelu Lukaku. You don't want to slag him off, but he's not a player who can play up front on his own. 2 managers have tried it. Don't get me wrong, he scored a lot of goals. You can't sit here and go, fucking crap him, doesn't do anything. But the system doesn't seem to aid him in that.
Yeah.
And when we're playing bad and we're not creating chances, for me, if you haven't got, regardless of whether you've got feel, if you can't do anything with the players, i.e. sell them, replace them, then maybe you've got to look at the other things you can do, and the change of system is one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, Rom scored a lot of goals, but I think he'd have even more if we had a more conducive system. I think Martinez tried whatever way you dress it up, 4-3-3, or we never have 3 players up there, so for me it's never ever a 4-3-3, it is a 4-5-1. And I think if you give Rom, again, we said it before, if you give Rom a partner, someone else to occupy defenders as well as him, ideally you'd have someone you could put the ball in the net similar to Rom, and then you'd have that potent force. I still always quote, Leicester won the league last year with Vardy and with Okazaki, or the Spanish one, I always forget names. Lovely hair,
Ulloa.
They tried him. He got
Lovely hair. That was like, who? Lovely. Oh, that was him.
Ex-Brighton. Slimani's coming this year, so I think they won the league. They've demonstrated it. Man City.
Where's double knit cable jumpers?
He does wear that with the hair dragged across. Because it's freezing here in Spain. He's living the dream.
Black and yellow Adidas originals.
Yeah. Man City. When Man City were at the best, they had Dzeko and Aguero and Jovetic, and they've had Balotelli there as well. Negredo. So they had a plethora of strikers. To mix it up with. I think Romelu Lukaku would be a better striker in a 2 with someone to help him. Doesn't mean Rom's not good enough. It just means he's different for how we play, and he's a different striker to that. I think the time's come now where we tried this. The goals are drying up. It's ones now, isn't it? Or zeros. And it's time to look at
zeros.
Exactly. So it's time now, I think, to look at something totally different.
Yeah, I agree. I think the big issue for us in the system is Ross Barkley. For me, it's where you play him, and whether if you say you're going to play 4-4-2, where does he play in the team? Do you play him in one of the wide positions? You play him as a central midfielder, and I think he's always going to be the big conundrum in that sense, where you get him into the team. Because I think even though Ronald Koeman's been quite critical of him this season, and he's not really played well, I think he is still quite a big fan of Ross's. but it's just whether you can get him into the team and you're going to play that way. I think the 3 at the back is something that should be looked at again. I think that Chelsea game in hindsight, matching them in that system which they're so proficient at, and Conte knows inside out, was obviously a big error. But I think there's been times this season when we have done that. I think that back to that first game against Spurs, that was a 3-4-3, wasn't it? We played it well that day. Obviously,
West Ham in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. I went to it there as well. And I think Koeman used it really well at times when he was at Southampton against some of the top sides as well. And while I don't think that Jagielka, Williams and Morey can all play in it.
That's not
the
3.
I think if you play Mason Holgate as the 3, the 3rd, I think, granted, it's not a competitive game, but thinking back to that testimonial game against United, when he played alongside Jagielka and Morey, then he gave that little bit of extra dynamism on the right-hand side then when Coleman was bombing on. And I think in turn, that's a system that could maybe help Coleman and Baines as well. You know, free them up a little bit, allow them to get forward. I think it's something we should look at, but in the same breath, I don't want us to just be saying that's the way we play. It's that one system. I want us to be adaptable.
And the other thing about the Chelsea game is, for the first 20 minutes, we were doing all right.
They didn't have anything.
But we hadn't made the chance. And it was only when we started losing the ball in midfield that they started to pen us back and push us back. And
the opening goal come from her.
Yeah, it come from Gareth Barry.
Didn't it? He gave him wasn't a great ball, but Gareth Barry should have played the first time. He let it run across his body, and then
it was more about the attacking that day, and that's our big problem, isn't it? He's come in, he's tried to organise the defence. He's done quite a good job, really, considering. I mean, I know a lot of doom merchants out there are talking about the way we're playing. Someone said to me, that Southampton game was the worst game I've seen for 20 years. I was thinking, where were you last season? Because I've seen...
Where were you 2 weeks ago against Chelsea?
Well, yeah, but the likes of Sunderland towards the end of the season, Leicester where we didn't bother turning up, Anfield with the 4-0 was one of the most horrific.
I think I seen Cascarino. I mean, his opinion matters probably as much as Theresa May's, but I think the whole thing about, he was saying Everton's defence is underperforming and all that. And if you take the Chelsea game out of it, generally it's been alright, hasn't it? It hasn't been amazing, but it hasn't been terrible. No. We can see the 5 at Chelsea could have been 9. Yeah. But other than that, that's been ones, hasn't it? Really, it's just that it's been the other end of the pitch.
It's been the other end. You'd expect to concede goals everywhere in the Premier League, but if you can score a couple yourself, we'd scored a couple of goals against Swansea, scored a couple of goals against Southampton. Teams you'd expect us. You're taking 3 points, aren't you? I mean, that definitely is our biggest problem, and that's where, as you say, you play 3 at the back, and I think we talked about it before the Chelsea game. You suddenly get your full-backs getting off the pitch and maybe getting them to do what they're stronger at. Certainly Coleman, because we mentioned it a few weeks ago when we played West Ham. Second half against West Ham, so noticeable that Seamus Coleman and Oviedo were higher up the pitch and how much more of an effect he had. You look at the Sunderland second half, how we sort of had that diamond in midfield, like an attacking diamond, and it was the same as West Ham as well. A narrow attacking 4 of it was Lukaku, Ross Barkley,
against West
Ham, Balassi. It's more of an attacking diamond. That's when we've looked at our best, when we've had a narrower attacking with the full-backs having the width. That for me that's where it's just finding the balance of how you're going to do that.
When you're saying about Ross Barkley, I think you're right. I think he's the issue. He's a problem in terms of he's not scoring any goals. He's taking up an attacking spot. But I think there's got to be a time. He can't go through his career as just being having a free role, because things change, formations change. It'll be in a year's time. Someone will be playing a different way. And everyone will, because that's what they are in football, they're all sheep. They all follow this. This is the way to do it now. No one's got any inventiveness anymore. The
person who invented in the first place has got the invention.
They have, but there's a small percentage. Everyone else is sheep. So I think there has got to be a time when Ross is put alongside the likes of Garner, and can he sink or swim? Can you do it? Yes or no? And if you can't do it, then we need to either sell you or find a different position for you, because you're not going to get that off the striker, because if you're playing off Romelu Lukaku, you've got to be scoring the quarter of what you've got to be weighing in with goals and creating chances. Otherwise, all you're doing is you're an extension of our midfield, doing drag backs and not actually going anywhere. Whereas I think he might be better alongside.
It's been interesting, hasn't it? Because although the system he played by and large has been the same, he's tweaked things in the system, hasn't he? He's played different players out wide. He's switched the flanks with Balassi. He's tweaked around the defence a little bit. So I think he is set on this way of playing, isn't he? That's what it seems to be to me. Like he seems to be happy with that particular formation. But I think in a way, the 4-5-1 can quickly become 4-3-3, can't it? If you've got players who are aggressive,
it doesn't, and that's what we're talking about, isn't it? We're talking about having the players to do it. We don't seem to have the players. The other way to look at it for me is...
Well, sorry, would you say we have the players to play 4-4-2?
I think we do, yeah. I think we've got... we've
only got one striker.
But we haven't got one. That's a nonsense. That's not true. We have got another striker. His name's Valencia. Whether you like him or not, he's a player who's played a season in the Premier League already for West Ham.
Two.
Or two, sorry. And he's...
do
you know what? He's good in the air. He drags players out wide.
He's mobile.
Right, and he is mobile. And let's remember when Moyes played Koeman off the left at times to help out the Martinez, to help. It was Koeman's lack of movement, or mobility that stopped that. At times it worked.
And Ron was happier because he had someone else to take the knocks.
There's different ways of looking at it, and you know, I liked it when Martinez played with one of the wingers and he was more of a midfielder, a bit more of a pragmatic, you know, way of looking at things.
Cleverly.
So you could have a full back going past him and he could tuck in. You talk about Barkley. Do we get to the stage where we look at it and think, I know he's tried it when he was a little bit younger, Martinez tried it, but coming off one of the wings, almost like Pienaar did, almost like Arteta did. You know, you look at when Arteta came into the club, Moyes looked at him and thought, well, he's not the complete player, he may be a little bit slight, I'll put him on the wing where he'll have a bit more room. Won't get the fullbacks, so typically our fullbacks are quite slight as well, so he'll have a bit more freedom. He revelled in it. When he got himself a bit more built up, he moved back into midfield, fantastic. Pienaar's on the other side, he's the same, left midfield, not a winger, just a brilliant footballer.
Look at Coutinho at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Plays off the left, he can play. Yeah. You know, he's slight, he's quick, he doesn't go past plays and throw crosses in with his left foot. Coutinho picks the ball up and runs at a diagonal of people, and he can whip it.
Is that something you could do with Barkley?
Potentially,
because Balassi, but Balassi's cross yesterday, the best one he put in was off the right hand side. Yeah. The week before against Swansea, he put two pearlers in off the right hand side. When he goes to the left, it's always trying to force it with his left one. I think he might be better down the right. Yeah. You know,
is that not just putting square pegs in round holes again now? Because you know,
we're trying to find solutions up until January. That will be just discussion.
Yeah, I'm over trying things, but I think.
Do you not think Valencia could do a job up front?
I don't know. I've not seen enough of him to.
But the last two games, then take them. You come off the bench against Swansea.
He's done okay for 5
He caused them problems, didn't he? He scored. He come on yesterday, nearly scored himself. He got the one where he went down the keeper, and the keeper, you know, Forster was close to taking him out. He just made them have to think all of a sudden.
I think he's done okay.
Long term, he's not the right answer.
I think the danger as well, if you went with that, is you've got no one on the bench to change the game, then have you?
But I'd rather us have the game won.
We've got anyone on the bench to change the game now.
I'd rather have the game won, no, Matt. I'd rather them play and we score a couple of goals and that.
I just think we've got. I think at the moment in the squad we've got choices, but we're not using them right. You know, it's always Delafeu, it's always Morales coming off the bench, or one of them's playing and Lennon will come off, or whatever. It's like the same rotation of 3 or 4 players. It's getting back to what we've been doing for the last sort of 10 years, basically. We did it under Moyes, did it under Martinez, and I just think that there is room. You could see, for me again, another way of looking at it, you could play 4-3-3, but you play it in a far more disciplined way in your midfield. So you have a flat 3, whether that be Barry, Garner, McCarthy, and then you say to Ross, and it has happened already this season, Ross, you play one of the attacking, you play one of the attacking sides, and Balassi plays the other attacking side, or Balassi's the centre forward with Ron. And you have
I'd play 3 with that in that situation. I'd have 3 at the back.
No, but what I'm just saying, you could play if you're
That's
going
all
to
I'd have
play if you're going to play 4-3-3, and a lot of people, you want that to, or you want.
Do you know what my only issue with that? You're right what you're saying in terms of mixing it up, but none of them are solutions for me because we're not addressing what the issue is.
Yeah,
and the issue is we haven't got to go. Them players are all playing now. Barkley's playing, Bolassi's playing.
But isn't that the problem?
Delafeu's playing, Morales is playing, Lennon's playing, Garner's. None of them have got goals. Valencia, we don't know. We don't know. Let's get him. Let's get. For, what I would be looking at if it was me, if I had the choice on Sunday, I'd be looking and thinking like the main man, the man who we look to score goals, the man who, if Everton score, most people up and down the country would probably go, it'll be Lukaku because he scores most of our goals. How can I get him more chances, right? It's not by having Delafeu on the right or Morales or Balassi. It's by giving him some space. Manchester United at the weekend are going to have, if they've just got Lukaku to mark, they're going to be happy days all day long. 2 or 3 of them, however Merino plays, get him. Cut the supply off from Balassi, forget the right, there's nothing on the right hand side. Everton's goals are gone. Unless they score off a set piece, which is bloody, you've got more chance of seeing if they can super move than you have of Everton scoring off a set piece. So already that's taken out. Whereas if we lined up and all of a sudden he's got Valencia and Lukaku, then he's thinking, all right, don't get me wrong, they're not going to be sat there terrified about Valencia, but Valencia will take up. He'll have to be occupied. A defender will have to look after him, which means Rom all of a sudden has got a little bit of space, which means Balassi might have a little bit more space, and straight away, whether you go, like you said, whether you play flat 3 and you say to Valencia, come off the side, like Coney did, come off, Balassi on the right, Valencia come off the left. When we're defending, make sure you're one of the wide players, right? But when we're attacking, go and stand almost alongside Romelu Lukaku.
It's important though in that system is that the players do things they've not been doing anyway. You can line up any way and with any different combination of players. But if you've not got players who are willing to work hard off the ball, you won't switch that and start a game.
I'll ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think's been Romelu Lukaku's best partner while he's been at Everton Football Club?
Delafeu, probably. I'd say
a
player who can't get in a championship side at the moment. Stephen
Naismith. I think Stephen Naismith has been was Romelu Lukaku's best ever partner when he was at Everton Football Club, because he's like you've just been saying. Then someone would ruffle the feathers.
And
if you could get Valencia to do that job, now I know he's not that kind of player, but if you could have him just upsetting people, because that's what Naismith used to do.
Why did we sell Naismith?
I don't know, but there'd be a video where we applauded it.
Yeah,
there will be. So let's not say too much. No, there will be.
It's when you look and you go, no, I think we probably applauded getting 8 million because at the time. But when you look back, and this is down to the previous managers, not Koeman, but we bought a player who we didn't even play, and we give a lad away who played and scored goals. It made no sense. But, and he'd be perfect.
But wouldn't he? That's what I'm saying. If Valencia could play, if we could get him in the team and he could do, because Naismith was just a nuisance. Remember when we played against Arsenal, played in the false number 9, and all he did was do doggy runs between the centre back and who did
Arteta, wasn't it?
No, it was Arteta, wasn't it?
Oh, with
he did doggies, and all he did was do doggies and upset that rhythm and stop them playing. And if we could get Valencia,
came off the wing,
Valencia in the team in an attacking role to just do something like that. Again, I don't know whether
we don't know
whether
this isn't long term. Long term,
no.
He'll bring in, like we said, Memphis Depay. He obviously has identified him, and he might think, right, Lukaku, Balassi, Depay. That's a perfect front three.
Might play Depay as a second striker.
Yeah, well, so you don't know. You know that. I think he'd probably do. Depay would probably go to a Shane Long, off the right wing channels. I think that's how we'll see him. I think for the next 6 weeks. We've got to try something a little bit different, and I think Manchester United, if we go out and play that 4-5-1, which is what we play, they kind of play that anyway, and they've got some strong players, so you'd be almost matching them. And I think if you rolled up and went, well, we're actually playing, whether it be 3-4-3 or whether it's a 4-4-2, and we're going to kind of miss the midfield out here, because let's be honest. At the moment, we just hit bloody long goal footballs to Rom anyway, and he can't bring it down. He's got no one with him. But if we were knocking long goal footballs, and Valencia, because he won a few headers when he come on yesterday, if he's getting up and getting a couple of knockdowns, Ron might be in, and then you back him every time then. Whereas if you're just knocking him up to him, and he's having to battle with 2 defenders, it's not his game. It's not his game, and we're not quick enough getting round him. We've got no one who runs past Lukaku. Nobody. Ross doesn't do it anymore. Ross, start, and you know what you might get if you had Barkley in, and I'm not advocating playing him in the 2 on a Sunday, but if he did, and you had another centre forward for him to hit, maybe he wouldn't hesitate so often when he's got the ball. Maybe he'd be able to pop it in and get it back.
That helps as well. It helps having 2 runners in front of you.
Yeah.
And so it's at the end of the day, it's about choice, isn't it? It's about, we spoke about it in the final word about Balassi. If Balassi's got 1 man in the box, he's just going to be tempted to just throw the ball into the box. Suddenly, if he's got 3 or 4 options, then it makes it.
But imagine if he picks his head up, Balassi, and he's got Lukaku and Valencia coming in. Valencia, we know, is decent in the air.
Yeah.
If he's got 2 runners coming in, what you could even, like you just said there with Ross Barkley, you could even say to Ross, right, go and occupy the left-hand side, just like exactly what you've said. Valencia, go and play as a 3, but don't, if you know what I mean. Get in alongside Romelu, join in alongside Rom, get close to him as you can. And we all kind of tilt round. So we've got midfield of Garner, Gareth Barry, Romelu, Ross Barkley and Yannick Balassi, Adam Balassi on the right. We tilt round and try and make it a 3 at times. So it's not too dissimilar to the system that he's playing, but we're getting another centre forward in the team. Now, all right, Valencia might be a car crash, he might be dreadful, but he might come in and knock them about for a bit, and Ron might get 2 opportunities and we're winning 2-0, and then he can drag him off and put anyone on to try and hold it. Do you know what I mean?
I'd love to see something different like that. I think it'll be refreshing. I think if we went with 2 strikes on Sunday, it'll be good. The only concern with that way of playing is that the back 4 that we've got in place already, as I said before, is, you know, Stecklenberg 32, Williams 32, Jagielka 34, Baines,
Holgate, what's going on? What's going on?
What's wrong with that?
What's going on? What's wrong with?
No idea.
Oh,
what's wrong with Baines?
Matt's just gone.
I just started laughing.
Matt's just gone. It's almost like you were talking
Are
about
you
something
thinking
else.
about Nias? Are you? Are you thinking about Nias and how we can get him?
He's just scored. He just scored.
Oh,
And he could be the option.
I just sensed it.
Get him
He could
in.
be the answer.
But that way of playing will leave that back 4 really,
That's
really.
why you need Holgate.
Yeah.
No, but you'd still have Barry and Garner still. But you only got that anyway, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just got them
Get
two.
rid of Barry, but having Davies.
But you've got them 2 still protecting.
Yeah.
So you'd have.
It's just I just think there's players in that team that need protecting. Now, Jagielka, you look at him and think he needs players around him. Leighton Baines probably the same way he's being there.
Potentially though, Jack shouldn't start this week, should he?
You'd like to think not.
Shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's for me. He was at fault for the goal. On
Right,
Sunday.
let's just like top this off now, because Nias has scored again, right? So there's going to be loads of people asking the questions. Could Nias be? Could he play up front in a 2 with Lukaku? I'm just throwing it out there.
What? Right, people will laugh, but what more can he actually be doing than playing in the reserves and scoring goals?
Get a locker for a start.
Yeah, but you know, if you're the manager and you're looking for a reaction from a player, he's gone down to the reserves. He could easily be sulking, just not really doing anything. He scored a hat-trick the other month, didn't he? He scored a couple as well.
Scored a lot. He's got about 8 goals in 4 games.
And you look at that team and the top of the league, he's obviously been a key part of it. Does he deserve a chance on the bench at least? Could he be any worse than what we've got? I mean, obviously we don't see him every day in training, and we might.
I don't know.
I honestly think, why not? It's not if we were playing well and he was scoring, you'd be going, oh, we're doing all right. But we've got no goals in us, have we? Kone's even had game time this season, which is incredible. So why, and he's well worse than Nias, and I'm saying that right now, he is worse than Nias.
I think striker's a position you can have a wild card, can't you, on the bench? I think you can afford to have a player.
Swerve this on the bench, Lach. Get him in
You want him up front.
Front 3 of Rom, Valencia, and Nias.
I bet you though. I bet you if Nias played though, he'd run around and press, wouldn't he? Because he'd have to, wouldn't he? He'd have to impress, wouldn't he? Imagine.
It's another one though, isn't it? We don't.
Imagine if he just like threw him on the opposition and be like, oh, this Koeman thinks he's crap. He'd be rubbish, and the next minute just comes in.
Maybe
and
it's
gets
been a ruse from the start.
You've said this a few times now.
He could be this like. It could be this
just be
generation's like Harry Deere as well. Couldn't he as well? You could see articles in 20 years' time saying the story of Nias.
He could do, yeah. But then again, you could see.
Or he could
move to
Galatasaray and be absolutely amazing or something. So
the day that
who knows?
Nias turned into Pele.
Yeah.
I sold him on Footy Manager and he became boss.
There you go.
It's written in the stars.
It is. That's it. We threw the Nia stuff in at the end there just to mix it up a bit. So let us know what is the best formation for this Everton team.
What would you actually do then on Sunday?
No.
What formation would you play?
4-4-2.
4-4-2.
Yeah.
Honestly, old school.
That could
I'd
vary
go
to a 4.
I'd go 3.
three,
I'd go back
three,
to, I think 3 at the back, but I want us to stick with it for a few games.
Millennials.
3-5-2.
Jealous of me literature.
3-5-2 was played
Seen
in
Everton win a league, mate.
the 1990 World Cup by England. So
You've not seen 3 at the back till you've seen Scales, Ruddock and Bab.
McAteer
There you go.
and Bjornaby.
There you go.
And
Missing link.
He nearly won the league, didn't he? With the 3 at the back.
So Bab smashed into the post.
Against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, gonads everywhere, wasn't it?
Going at it. Tell us what you think. What would you have for this Everton team for the time being? Would you stick with 4-5-1? Would you go 4-4-2? Would you go the old what was the W?
Yeah, 2-3-5.
There you go. In the old days, you used to play with like one defender.
2-3. That was Ozzy Ardiles at Spurs.
Oh yeah, 5 up
He
front.
led
It was Herbert Chapman, wasn't it? The WN.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a bit.
Ozzy Ardiles invented it first.
Ozzy
then went in time. Yeah.
Before Michael J. Fox stood up.
It was Hungary, wasn't it? The mighty Magyars.
We know
Yeah.
that McPartland saying
Hipsters.
into the Premier
Yeah.
League was Ozzy Ardiles. You can have your Herbert Chapmans all you want. You can have Magyar,
Bambi,
Dimitrescu,
Klinsmann,
Sheringham,
and who's the other one?
and we'll come to me in a
That's the
minute.
quiz question.
Quiz
Iverson.
Who?
Iverson.
No,
It
that
wasn't.
well before Iverson. This was
These were
93.
that was
Ah,
Klinsmann.
94.
Alright.
Premier League.
After the World Cup. Anyway, whatever. There you go. Let us know what you think. What's the best formation for Everton to play? Tell us in the comments. You've been watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.